All right, welcome to the next topic. We are now moving on to the topic of production. So in that slide, you will see it's titled WPU Microeconomics, and I begin the second slide by defining what is production. All right, production. Production is a process or processes that a firm uses to transform inputs, example land, labor, capital, raw materials into outputs, goods or services the firm wishes to sell. So for instance, in a typical factory, let's say a potato chips factory, you would see the potatoes come in as raw materials, you would see the labor there, you would see the machineries lined up to cut the potatoes, wash the potatoes, fry up the potatoes, package the potatoes, and then you see the labor in there, and then in the output you have Mr. Potato Chips and things like that. So I give you a classical example. To make a banana bread, you need banana, flour, egg. Once baked, it goes in a wrap and it's sold. So when you talk about the factors of production, you can summarize the idea in terms of production function, or you can give a mathematical expression or an equation that explains the engineering relationship between inputs and outputs. So remember, we said economics is a science and also it's a social science. Social science because it deals with social relationship, and a science because you can try to quantify your different factors in macroeconomics or microeconomics, and you can try to calculate the quantity to a approximate value. All right, so a simple formula is that assuming land and capital are the two main inputs used in production, we can write the production function as Q equals F L times K. So the production function gives the answer to the question how much output can firm produces given different amounts of inputs we can describe as either fixed or variable. All right, fixed inputs and variable inputs. Fixed inputs are those that can easily be increased or decreased in short period of time. All right, these are fixed inputs. For example, in the pizza example, the building is a fixed input. Once the developer signs the lease, he or she is stuck in the building until the lease expires. Fixed inputs defines the firm's maximum output capacity. So fixed inputs are those assets or inputs that can't be easily increased or decreased. For instance, when you pay for a factory, a rent for 5 years, you're stuck with that factory. As a result, it is a fixed input. While variable inputs are those that can easily be increased or decreased in a short period of time. In the pizza example, you can see that the pizzaiolo can order more ingredients with a phone call, so ingredients would be variable inputs. The owner could hire new persons to work the counter pretty quickly, so labor is a variable input as well. So in your exams, expect questions around those areas. All right, now two important functions, short and long run production. When you talk about short run production, is the period of time which at least one or more factors of production are fixed. During the period of a restaurant lease, the pizza restaurant is operating in a short run because it is limited to using the current building, an example of capital, and the owner can choose a larger or smaller building. Plant size or capital is a fixed factor of production in the short run. All right. The long run, the period of time during which all factors are variable. For instance, once the lease expires for the restaurant, the shop owner can move to a larger or smaller place. So that's what we mean by short run and long run. All right, let's explore production in the short run using a specific example, offering haircuts in a salon. Since capital of the salon place is fixed and the amount of output, example haircuts per day, depends only on the amount of labor employed, example the numbers of barbers working, we can express this production function numerically as in the table figure 7.1 below. All right, so when you look at it, number of barbers, one barber can get 15 haircuts per day. All right, when you look at two barbers, they can get 22, so like 7 more added onto the 15. When you add 3 barbers, they can get 25. That means that there are 3 added more. 4 barbers, 23, and if you get 5 barbers, it drops back to 19. We call the output as total production. So total product, TP. TP is the amount of output produced with a given amount of labor and a fixed amount of capital. In this example, one barber can give 15 haircuts in a day, 2 barbers produce 20 haircuts in a day, and so on. We should also introduce a critical concept, marginal product. Marginal product is the additional output of one more worker. So mathematically, marginal product is the change in total product divided by the change in labor. So change in total product divided by the change in labor. So in the figure 7.2, since zero workers produce zero haircuts, the marginal of the first worker is 8 haircuts per day. So how did we come up with 8 haircuts per day? So the example is, we say the marginal product is the change in total product divided by the change in labor. So change in labor is 1, and the change in marginal product is from 0 to from 1 to 15. So that means you'll get for one baba, you will see that the marginal product of the first worker is 8 haircuts per day. So basically the first worker is 8 haircuts per day, and so on. That's what you call marginal products. So let's look at the labor. So 0, 0, 0. So number of babas 1, number of haircuts per day is 8. That means marginal product is 8, and then average product of labor is 8. So when you go 2 babas, when it goes to 17 haircuts, you will see that it's the total. It's the formula is that the marginal product is the change in total product divided by the change in labor. So change in total product from 8 to 17 is 9, divided by the change in labor is 1. 1 divided 9 is 9. So that's how they use the formula. So when you sort of see it, you would know that the marginal product is rising from 1 to 2 and from 2 to 3 because of the fact that 1 baba 15, 2 baba 22, and 3 baba 25. So when it reaches the number 3 there, you see that it starts to go down. So the number 3 is what you call the basic, or the utmost it can produce. So after that, the law of diminishing margin product comes in. So for example, the reason behind this pattern is that a one-man barber shop is very busy. The single barber needs to do everything, say hello to people, answer the phone call, cut hair, clean up, and run the cash register. When you get a second barber, basically they can share tasks, division level, and specialize, and then they can increase your marginal returns. But when you add a third barber, what you see is that the personal marginal product basically decreases because of the fact that the third or fourth barber, the space, the freedom to move around, or they might be bumping elbows, they might not be working properly, the space is too small. As a result, the marginal product starts to decrease. So when you see that if more barbers would cause the output of each worker to decrease and result in falling marginal return, this is the law of what you call diminishing marginal product, and it's a characteristic of production in the short run. Why does diminishing marginal productivity occur? It is because fixed capital. If the salary manager is unable to use a larger space but keeps hiring additional barbers, the rate at which the marginal product starts to go down, and then it basically results in diminishing marginal product. So it will hit its peak, and then it will drop down. All right, thank you for the first 2 classes, and now we will go on to look at the next 2 sort of lectures on production. So the next topic will be factors of production.